Hi everybody, welcome to week number 4 of the College Challenge. And this week we're going to be looking a little bit deeper at what kind of college is right for you. We're going to look at some different options for different learning environments. And what do I mean by environment? I just mean what the school is like. Where is it? What kind of people go there? How many people go there? And basically what the school is all about. This information should be pretty easy to find online. But compared to the academic and athletic information we looked at before, you'll really want to take a closer look at everything you see. Because now you're really asking yourself the question, is this a place that I want to spend 4 years? So before we get started this week, I'd like you to read the articles to find out more information on different kinds of schools. Specifically, the first question we want to answer is, would you rather go to a big school or a small school? The articles that you can read this week give examples of what the experience is like at each type of school, as well as maybe some things you might not have considered. You can play along and ask yourself these questions, and it's okay if you don't know or don't have much of a preference. When you're ready, you can head to the discussion and let us know. What do you think? Would you prefer a big school or a small school? Why? And how important is that to you compared to other information about the school? So let's really get into these different categories. And again, just ask yourself, which one sounds like a better fit for you? The first kind of environment we want to look at is whether a school is big or small. At a small school that has less than 3,000 students, you have a pretty good chance of eventually meeting everybody in your class year. You won't be meeting too many strangers in your classes, especially as you get specialized in your major. Whereas at a bigger school, with more than 10,000 students, you won't even know everybody in your major in your class year, and you'll constantly be meeting new people. Whether that's exciting or overwhelming is up to you. Another kind of environment is geographically where the school is located. Maybe you have a strong preference for somewhere that gets cold and snows in the winter, or you would rather go to a place that's warmer and it never snows. Maybe you have family in a certain state, or you've always wanted to go to a certain part of the country. These geographic preferences are really important too, and you can definitely find a school in an area that you're interested in. Another consideration within those states is whether or not you would want to go to an urban school or a rural school. For example, in the state of Washington, there's a big difference between the University of Washington and Washington State University. One of the biggest differences in the environment is where they're located. Washington State is located in a rural area, where the University of Washington is in a very urban area. Do you think you would rather go to school in a big city or out in a quiet countryside? That's up to you to decide. The last thing I want to talk about is the different kinds of specialty schools that are available. You've probably heard of art school, where students focus on the fine and performing arts and become masters of their crafts. A religious school isn't just training to serve in church, it's also a campus environment where the students and staff support each other in their spirituality. A military academy, you train to become an officer in one of our nation's armed forces, and the tuition is completely free in exchange for a commitment to serve. Engineering schools are schools that focus on engineering majors, and maybe you would prefer to go to a school like that where all of the students have similar interests and the whole school is set up to support that. If none of those sound particularly appealing to you, I would like you to investigate private schools. Unlike the state universities, private schools have some interesting things that make them unique. And if you look into those, you might find one that you could just see yourself spending 4 years at. Again, considering the environment at a college is just as important as the academics and athletics. And I hope by taking a deeper look this week, you'll get a sense of what your options are. So when you go to the assignment for this week, you can answer the question for each of those categories we just mentioned. What kind of school would you prefer? If you can come up with 3 examples of schools in that category, you'll get a better idea of what's out there. Now, I know there's some overlap. For example, you could have a big urban school. I just want you to make sure you have different schools in each category as you continue to grow your college list. So with that being said, if you see any that you particularly like, be sure to add them to your spreadsheet, since we'll be making our big college list in next week's lesson. Thank you, everybody, and great job this week.